Welcome to LinguaWire English B1. Today, we have two stories. One about Iranian sailors leaving Sri Lanka after a US attack, and another about a big music company found guilty of overcharging fans. Follow us to practice your English every day with the latest episode. For transcripts and comprehension quizzes, visit linguawire.com. I'm here with Sarah, LinguaWire's world news correspondent. Sarah, what happened with the Iranian sailors in Sri Lanka?
Hello, Daniel. More than 200 Iranian sailors were stuck in Sri Lanka after a U.S. submarine attacked their ship, the Iris Dana. The attack happened on March 4th, and sadly, 104 sailors died. The sailors who survived were stuck in Sri Lanka for over a month.
What is new now about these sailors?
On April 14th, Sri Lanka sent 238 sailors back to Iran. This group included 32 survivors from the attack ship, Iris Dana, and 206 sailors from another Iranian ship, Iranian Bushehr. Sri Lanka gave them 30-day visas and kept them in military camps while they waited.
Why were these sailors in Sri Lanka in the first place?
The Iris Dana was near Sri Lanka after a military exercise in India when the U.S. submarine hit it with a torpedo. The other ship, Iranian Bushehr, had engine problems and asked to dock at a Sri Lankan port. Sri Lanka took control of that ship on March 5th.
Why does this matter for the world?
This attack happened during a war between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. It made the conflict bigger because the ship was in international waters, not near any country's land. It shows how dangerous the situation is and how it affects many countries.
What could happen next with these sailors or the conflict?
The sailors are now home, but the conflict might continue. The attack increased tension between the countries. Also, Sri Lanka showed it can help by giving shelter and visas to sailors in trouble. This might affect how other countries react in future conflicts.
Is there anything surprising or unusual about this story?
Yes. The U.S. Department of Defense released a video showing the ship being hit, with the back of the ship rising before it exploded. Also, Sri Lanka's quick decision to help the sailors and give them visas was important and showed good cooperation.
How did Sri Lanka manage to support so many sailors for over a month?
Sri Lanka gave the sailors 30-day entry visas and housed them in Navy and Air Force camps. This helped keep them safe and comfortable while they waited to go home. It was a big effort by the Sri Lankan government and military.
What happened to the sailors who died in the attack?
The bodies of 84 sailors were recovered and sent back to Iran on a special plane arranged by the Iranian government. This was important to give the families closure and respect for the lost sailors.
Now I'm joined by Michael, LinguaWire's business correspondent. Michael, what is the latest news about Live Nation and Ticketmaster?
Hi, Daniel. A U.S. jury found that Live Nation, which owns Ticketmaster, acted as a monopoly. This means they controlled the market in a way that stopped other companies from competing. The jury also said they charged fans too much for tickets.
What is new about this case now?
The jury made this decision after a 7-week trial in New York City. They took 4 days to decide. This verdict could force Live Nation to sell parts of its business or separate from Ticketmaster. This is a big change for the music and live event industry.
Why did the government take legal action against Live Nation?
The U.S. Department of Justice said Live Nation's actions kept other companies out of the market. This meant fewer choices for fans and higher ticket prices. The government wants more competition so prices go down and service improves.
Why does this decision matter for music fans and performers?
If Live Nation and Ticketmaster are broken up, smaller companies could sell tickets and book venues. This could lower ticket prices and help less famous performers get shows more easily. It could change how people buy tickets and go to concerts.
What could happen next with this case?
Live Nation said the jury's decision is not final. They asked the court to reject some evidence about how much money should be paid in damages. There are other legal steps that might change the result. But this verdict is a strong message about big companies controlling markets.
Is there an interesting detail about Live Nation's size or work?
Yes. Last year, Live Nation organized over 55,000 concerts worldwide. They had 159 million people attend these events. This shows how big their influence is in live music and sports.
How might this verdict affect ticket prices in the future?
If smaller companies can enter the market, ticket prices might go down. More competition usually means better prices and better service for fans. This could make concerts more affordable for many people.
Could this case change how concerts are organized?
Yes, with more companies able to book venues and sell tickets, there could be more variety in concerts. Smaller performers might find it easier to get shows. This could make the music scene more open and diverse.
Let's look back at some useful words from our first story about the Iranian sailors. The theme is maritime and military terms. The first word is torpedo. A torpedo is a weapon that moves underwater to hit a ship. In the story, a U.S. submarine used a torpedo to attack the Iranian ship. For example, the Navy fired a torpedo during the exercise. The second word is sailor. A sailor is a person who works on a ship. In the story, many sailors were stranded in Sri Lanka after the attack. For example, the sailors helped fix the boat after the storm. The third word is dock. To dock means to bring a ship into a port and stop it there. In the story, the Iranian ship Iran's Bushi docked in Sri Lanka because of engine problems. For example, the ship will dock at the harbor tonight. Now, for our second part, let's learn about the verb to dock. To dock means to bring a ship into a port and stop it there. It is a regular verb. For example, in the past tense, we say docked, like the ship docked yesterday. In the present tense, we say dock or docks. For example, ships dock at this port every day. Here are two more examples. The boat docks at noon. Yesterday, the ferry docked safely. This verb is useful when talking about ships and ports, just like in our story. Follow Lingua Wire for the latest daily episode and build your daily language habit with us.